Kawasaki paid this guy a lot of money. Last show, Destroyer, they take P. Diddy, who's in prison. Okay, cool. It'd be 10 grand.
He's in Canada. He's probably running that on maple syrup.
We talked to Chad Reed, and I go, stop. And we're a little biased. Probably throws Roos to the Midwest.
I don't care about like any of that, right?
I do. I do idle at times, yeah. If they want more, they got it.
Yep.
Welcome to That Moto Show with Dirt Bike TV's Jay Clark and producer Donnie Bales.
All right, That Moto Show, we are into the heart of winter.
We are, yeah.
Well, I guess we're crossing it. We're in February. And
yeah.
And it was like 70 degrees yesterday, and out in the desert it was 80 on Sunday. So pretty gnarly. Like California winter.
We don't have winter. We have kind of a false winter. It could come in. I remember one year on Christmas, it was 80 degrees.
You're right. That sounds about right. So we're here at Donnie's studio, and right behind Donnie is our YZ250 FX 2025, and we have a video on that bike if anybody wants to check it out. Also, Rado has a video on the same bike, and it's got Rado's backgrounds on there right now.
Hey man, that thing has a stout skid plate,
and it's pretty easy to take off and on, which I like about the stock skid plate. So we take it off and on when we wash the bike and change the oil, obviously. So you have either video to choose from to go watch on that bike.
Yeah,
we kind of say similar things. It's just one's got a different accent.
On the Rado channel and then the Dirt Bike TV channel. Okay.
Yes. So great bike. Also, we just did NGPC, National Grand Prix Championship Series.
And you rode this bike.
Rode that bike.
Yeah.
And so the reason was I didn't want to ride a moto bike and have to worry about gas.
Yep.
It was 51 minutes, but it is deep sand.
Yeah.
And you could ride a little bit longer.
Did you countenance the amount of fuel that was left in the bike?
I never did any math.
Yeah.
No.
Did you even look down in there and see what was okay?
No. So it was fine. So it lived.
How fun was that race?
It was so fun. This is my first real off-road race, I would say. Legitimate, off-road race.
You didn't do Grand Prix before and stuff?
No, they wear tires out. Bugs me. On asphalt, especially, I would ride sweep at the Elsinore Grand Prix a couple times when Goat had it, 25 years ago.
Right.
But I was so cheap that it would just bug me that I was on asphalt with knobbies.
Just shredding tires.
Yeah, I'm like, no, dude, this isn't cool. So that bugged me. But this race was really well run. Good group of people. Anna and I think Kurt is his name that put it on. I think that's who it is, his name. But her name's Anna, and they do a great job.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Organized.
Would you do another one?
I think I would do another one there. I like sand.
How about Havasu? Have you ever done Havasu?
Yeah, no. Havasu looks too miserable. And everybody I've talked to.
I love Havasu.
Yeah, the course looks like it gets just too rocky, too whooped out.
It does get a little whooped out.
No, not a little, dude.
I'm going to tell you a story.
No, it's legit whooped out. Yeah.
Probably in 2002 or something, I went and did one with Michael Monroe. He was at Dirt Rider, and he works at TLD right now.
Yeah.
And him and I were going to ride the team race. So I rode my race in the morning, and the end of the day is the team race. And I started the team race. It was at the end of day one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started the race, and I came around and did my first lap. And I went to switch riders, so I got off the bike, and I told him, I will not be here when you come back. It's 100%, dude. I left. I go, I am not doing another lap on this track. Right. That's how bad it was.
Well, and then, so on Sunday, they showed the pro race. We were just there Saturday morning, and I knew what I was getting into in the sense I've talked to enough guys. Trevor Hunter's a good friend, and Mark Tilley goes out there a lot. Trevor Hunter puts up these good videos that shows the course. And so
my buddy
last couple years,
Iggy helps run that thing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good group of people. I mean, so it was really well organized. The times go right when they say, and you just do your thing. Most people stay out there in motorhomes. I even have a few photos of guys staying in tents in the back of their truck, dude. Just sleeping right there in the back of their truck.
Hey, my mom literally lives 4 miles from there. Right,
real close. So fun race.
Hey, hold on a second.
I don't think I'd want more bike than the 250 FX.
Oh, yeah, that thing's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, what number show is this?
28.
28. This is the most important show that we could have.
So which rider was 28?
Well, first of all, me. Okay. Which rider was 28? Yeah. I've got, and this is from memory. So Wyndham had 28 on a Yamaha.
I know 125 even.
On 125. Weston Pike ran number 28.
Yeah, Suzuki.
Dungy ran number 28.
Oh, on a 250F.
On a 250F. right? And I know Spencer reminded me of the Gary Jones ran number 28.
Okay, I wouldn't remember.
And the current rider is Team Star Yamaha, Christian Craig.
Oh, that's right. We'd hardly ever see him.
No, he's been training like Cole Davies or something, but I think.
Because his injury, as soon as he signed with Star, he got hurt.
His elbow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad deal.
But I think he was being brought in there as a coach role after he was done racing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But he's been racing forever. He knows a lot. And whatever. This show is going to be 28% better.
Okay, I hope so. If we can make every show 28% better, that'd be awesome. People would be stoked.
Yeah.
And we get lots of great comments about that. We'll read some of those.
Yeah, okay.
Most of them are positive.
Yeah.
About the show. So we appreciate everybody watching and enjoying it, listening when you're driving, whatever you're doing. So I think the first thing I wanted to touch on is January was like, I had four in a row perfect Saturdays.
Right.
Where I went moto in the morning, come back, watch race day live while I washed and worked on bikes, and then watch Supercross. Nothing better. Even that Blythe race, that thing, I was home by 2:30.
You watched the race.
Watched the race day live as we were driving. Okay, got home, washed bikes. Cody gets back from Glen Helen. Boom, we wash bikes. We're inside watching Supercross by
I went to the first 3 rounds, and every round I saw our good buddy Dave O'Connor, and every time he called you names for not wanting to go to the Supercross races. So,
well, we always say there's athletes and there's athletic supporters.
Yeah,
which one are you going to be?
Yeah, man, those are good Saturdays when you can go ride.
Oh,
and then what was the track like? Was it full of people, or was it pretty empty, or compared to a normal Saturday?
At the track?
Yeah.
Okay. Out in the desert. It was just fun. As you can see, we got some cool photos from there. And they offer. There's a guy that gets out there that sells the photos. So you get good photos. If I had known in advance, like Cato was out there shooting, and there's people shooting, I would have just hit up some of these guys. But anyway, we got some cool photos from out at the race.
So you paid like retail, like a normal dude,
right? And then you got cool sections. I GoPro'd it, but it is vertical. But you could have some of that. You could show some of that cool, GoPro going around. That was in the unclassified in the morning. I didn't want to wear the GoPro in the race just because it's long. And I do notice that extra weight up there. I have enough extra weight, right?
But you've laughed a lot.
Right. So when anyway, it was just, I learned a ton. The off-road community, the racing group is all really fun. Everybody's pretty cool. Lots of people came by and said hi and all that kind of stuff.
Do you feel that it feels more laid back than a standard motocross race?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely
less intense.
Intense, good group. It was just all around was pretty cool. I would go back next year, and I know you couldn't make it this time.
Yep.
But hopefully next year you can make it.
No, I'm gonna put on my calendar, and unless there's an emergency, I'm gonna make it.
I think that's what we should plan on. So let's plan on that next, and we'll get there. And
these are my favorite types of races.
And you can run number 28.
Yeah,
I'll talk to him.
That'd be awesome. These are my favorite races, these Grand Prix format races. This is kind of what I've been doing over the last few years. And I really enjoy them the most.
Well, it was nice. I did the 2 unclassifieds. I did like 1.5 of the unclassifieds. And then the race, I was 51 minutes to finish that race and did those. So I probably put an hour and a half on the bike. I just don't feel like I needed any more riding.
What time did you finish your last moto?
At 10.
At 10. And what time were you? I know how you changed the moto.
I did go visit some people and stuff. So it was like 11 before I was out of there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We were home by 2:30 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
It's just a little over 3 hours from there.
Yeah. So we did great getting back, no traffic.
Where did you stay? Just in town?
Yeah. Holiday Inn Express, maybe.
Oh, that's all the way off of 95, Intake Boulevard.
Yeah.
Right, that one?
Lovekin.
Off Lovekin.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Fun time. Tons of cool people out there. Ty Davis is out there. Paul Krause. John Ortner shot that photo with you that I showed you. Just a good group of people. So it's really pretty cool. I think a lot of the older vet guys like it because they can just ride their own race. Like you hear in Supercross, but this is a little different. You can just ride your own ride. You're just cruising around.
Those guys hit their marks?
Yes. I did come around, and there's just always something to see. One time, there was a girl laid out in the middle of the course helmet's off, and she's out cold, dude. Like
Was somebody there attending to her?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. I wasn't a jerk. They diverted us off the course around. I didn't lose much time or anything, and there was a guy hounding me, so I had to go around, come back around the next lap, which was 10 minutes later, right? And I figured by 10 minutes they should, and they had everything off to the side. It looked like she was taken care of. Then on one of the races, then there was always some carnage in the first couple laps, and then there was a KX. I saw this KX with the sprocket was just totally balled up in the front. The chain was all balled up in the front sprocket. It looked disastrous. They had it on a UTV. I saw it there sitting on the side, and they were trying to mess with it. And then the next lap around, they got on top of a UTV. And then the next lap around, they're taking it. They can see them moving it out, So there's just, because that sand and rock could have got in there. Who knows what caused it to break? Or
Rocks derail chains all the time.
Right.
You know what's funny? It's like these guys, I'm going to tell you, basically, nobody lives in Blythe that's racing there.
Yeah, I think there was one local guy on Sunday.
I have an 80-20 rule, but my point is,
No one.
Somebody got ready to race, and they drove 7 hours at least, right, to get there and back.
Yeah.
And their race is over in 10 minutes.
Yeah, bummer. And I don't think you're fixing that right away because it probably did some case damage, unfortunately. Yeah. That's a tough one. That's why you always want to have good chain and sprockets on, and chain guides, those types of things.
Who makes good chain and sprockets?
ProX. Hey, we actually had a problem with that RMX I was going to talk about later. The chain guide looked fine. Never paid attention to it. And I have new chain and sprockets to go on it, but I did a little video showing the
chain guide on the
swing arm. The one that goes around the swing arm?
Yeah.
Spencer's out doing a test run. We changed the piston, comes back, or he was out there. That thing had dry rotted and just balled up. That rubber piece, plastic, had just balled up in there, and it bent the bolts. We got really lucky.
Wow. Like one more ride and it could have blown everything apart.
Right, and if it happened at the wrong time. So anyway, it takes when you're riding these 32-year-old bikes like these things, this kind of stuff can happen. So that's why it taught us a little lesson to pay more attention to some of those pieces that could break. And he had that bike out in the middle of the wild in Utah this summer, and it could have happened there. It would have been terrible. So anyway, so we learned our lesson a little bit. So just a reminder, before we get too far into the show, to email us your questions. Just email me. You can go to my website.
Don't email me.
Don't email Donnie. You can email me questions for Donnie if you want, but you can ask why he likes 28 or whatever. 28, like something about eating.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, to eat. No, back in the old days, CMC would assign you numbers.
Right.
And I got assigned 28, and it kind of stuck, and it's my mom's actual birthday date.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh man, I like this number. And
there
it was probably in 83, I got that number.
Right.
That's why.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice story, bro. Okay,
so cool story, bro.
Let's go real quick before we get too far. I want to talk about Cardo systems. So on the helmet right here, you can see our Cardo on here, and there's JBL speakers inside. This is a huge game changer on the trail. This is what the unit looks like. You charge this up just with a USB-C, snap it on. Even I can sync it up when Spencer's out of town because he usually does it. But I did it when he was the last trip out, which we'll talk about in a bit. Anyway, there's a huge sale going on right now, February 7th to the 16th. That's all. So if you're watching or listening to this after that, then disregard this. But good info, 22% off. Use our link from our website, from our link tree, any of that kind of stuff. It'll be in the show notes here and as well in the video description as well. So you can go save 22%, which is a great deal. You get the Pack Talk Edge Duo, which means you get two, so you can set up your helmet and your sons, wives, girlfriends, whatever. You can also get an extra helmet pack, they call it, helmet kit, what comes with the speakers and the microphone, because then it's nice. You could have two helmets set up. You could have your street helmet set up. You could have your dirt bike's helmet set up. You don't have to have multiple of these. And you can also listen to music or listen and take phone calls, whatever, while you're riding.
I have two helmets set up, and I took it to
South Dakota.
And I didn't have anybody to talk to, so I just listened to music the whole time.
Nice.
I just paired it and...
Oh, at the race, we even tried... We could have done better, I think, the next time. at a motocross race it'd be a little better, but we've never tried it on the motocross, but we tried it on that GP, and Sarah had a headset on and but I could hear her talking, but only in sections, because if you're wide open, you can't hear anything.
Plus, there's a lot of canyons there.
And when I left into the canyons, it was too far.
Yeah.
But in all the flat areas, it would work well. The problem is you'd have to be off the gas to hear it. Because if she could tell me, hey, 30 minutes or whatever, I don't know if it would have helped or not, but I would have been like...
Might have depressed you.
Right. But anyway, it was really fun. It's great for trail riding, because trail riding, other than a hill climb or something, you're usually not on it. You can hear almost too much. We'll talk about that on our trail ride, especially if they have a really strong, loud accent and they talk really loud. So we got the big sale. So remember to use our links when you go shopping as well. From our link tree, we got a Rocky Mountain link you can shop at. Use that, as well as a bunch of other companies on there: Recluse, ProX, Wiseco, Decal Works, Works Connection, a bunch of great companies. Okay, magazine stories. RM125. We did a 2006 that's in motocross action right here. Donnie's going to paste it in over my face right here as I hold it, right? Okay, so the magazine came out like a week ago, but I don't have the copy yet. So we just have the digital version that you prepared for me.
Yeah.
So this RM125 is my buddy Brent's bike that we did a few years ago, and we just freshened it up, fixed a few things, and he's in the service in the Air Force. We just, out in Vegas, we just freshened it up. And Motocross Action really liked it. The bike rips, and everybody loves how cool this thing looks. Decal Works did a great job with the look of that thing, with the yellow and the red. Thing looks amazing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So then, next thing would be Dirt Bike Magazine. You got another Suzuki right there. Hold that one up.
This one right here.
That's Cody's race bike. That's a 25 RMZ 450.
I'll put it in front of my face.
There you go. Yeah. I think people will like that better. Yeah, you can just stay like that. Yeah. There we go.
I'll just like this deal right here.
So that bike's actually been really good. A lot of people, give Suzuki grief. A couple upgrades we've done recently, we just switched to an RMZ 250 shock, which was pretty inexpensive to do. And then we have a twisted ECU on there. And really, I talked to Brian Medeiros, who rode one the last few years, and he got 150 hours, never even touch the engine. So I'm hoping that we can have that kind of luck.
I don't think Suzuki, I think it's a good bike. I just think
the quality's good.
I just think the problem is that we've all become very lazy with pushing a button.
Oh.
It's all over just kickstarting the bike.
I could never imagine riding a kickstart bike again.
It's so funny how we make fun of it being so antiquated because you have to kickstart it.
Right. And then our last magazine story, current one, is the CR125, another 125 build. This one I did for Dirt Bike Magazine, like this. That thing's cool, huh?
Yeah, it's very cool.
So I'll send you some cool photos to put in here too of this bike. So it's a really cool build. This is a 01 CR125.
Yeah,
I think it was. I can't even remember.
Powder coat the frame black.
Yeah, and that was done before I got involved. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
I like to not do that, but it came out nice. So it looked good. So that's the CR125 in Dirt Bike Magazine. That thing's been awesome. So the other thing we did, we've had a ton of tough weather through January, with the winds and the fires. That was gnarly. So hearts go out to all those affected. I've actually had a few people already write me that their bikes got burned up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. A couple people
Did you see the video of somebody riding?
He started that.
And they started that little XR,
that Honda.
like 100 or something.
Yeah, he started.
And it looked perfect on one side and it was melted on the other.
And it started up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's a Honda.
Yeah. We got some, after all those fires and junk, like we talked about, after all that, we did finally get some rain in Southern California, which kind of put an end to the fires, which is cool.
Yep.
And we got some snow in the desert, some rain. And as you can see, we got to some epic conditions. So the desert in out west here is just amazing when it's wet.
Second to none.
It's nothing like it.
Nope.
So you do big hill climbs, sand, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing.
Now, we know wet dirt changes color, but the dirt underneath goes to what we call chocolate brown, where they get back east all the time. But our chocolate brown is just nothing but grip.
And people don't understand it that haven't ridden in it. It's just next level.
Yeah.
And people want to ride the desert when they come out here and they're like, it's June or July. And I'm like, no, bro, we're not going out there.
We don't even know it exists in June or July.
No. And I don't even go in February if it's not wet.
Right.
It's got to be wet. So I'm really spoiled because I can go to a prep Glen Helen.
Right.
All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed a lot of that Really cool footage. I took out my buddy Matt and Rado. It was always fun to have around. We rode the FX. I was on my 350 XCF, and we met up with some good guys that we did like the first half of the ride. Remember Rick, your buddy Rick, and Leonard?
Yeah.
They end up falling off the group for a while, but I was with them for like an hour.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've known Rick since I was like 13.
And then this guy Adam was leading. Gnarly, like real fast. They had all the guys were all way younger than me and faster, but we had some cool footage of, us going through, and then we split off and then we did some kind of, I like to do 1 or 2 stupid things.
Oh, nice.
Okay. On the ride where you have to push your bike or you get stuck or you got to have something to remember the ride.
Some bulldogging.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So as you can see, really cool footage. Hope you guys enjoy that. Okay. Electric bikes, Donnie. Okay, I posted this generator running at the track.
Yeah,
on social.
I saw that picture.
I posted it, and then I had my Honda there, and I threw it on the stand just to be a little joke. And I posted this thing, just like 40 seconds of this thing. Okay, and the comments were brutal. Okay, when I post anything on an electric bike, I don't even say anything. Like I'm not trying to say anything politically or anything. And the comments are probably 15 or 20 to 1. Of negative. You can see these comments. Okay, that just defeats the purpose, scam, all these types of things. So there's some really polarizing topics, I guess we say, right?
Right.
What are your thoughts on these things?
Actually, it's weird. I don't hate them, but I think that if we're talking about them in terms of, are they for, energy or greenhouse gas? I don't care about any of that crap. So, if you want to ride it because it's something interesting, well, that's fine with me. I'm not into them. I like the sound of an engine.
Right.
I like the feel and the sound of an engine. You feel when you're twisting the throttle.
Yeah.
That direct connection with the engine and the ground and the throttle. That's part of the appeal of riding the machines that we ride. Right.
Well, and that's to the point of we talked about that FX and I did that race. You can't go 51 minutes in the sand.
No.
Okay. So it's not going to have a home in those types of places. And I did back to back. I did 30 minutes before that. I would have time to charge it up to even go do the.
There's another negativity.
Yeah.
There was that guy at Kauai that jumped inside the other guy. It was.
Yes, because they can't hear. I saw that footage.
And I almost hit a guy because I couldn't hear him.
That was a influencer guy.
Yep.
And Luke had brought him out, I think.
Yep.
And I saw the footage. It's. If the guys were both on gas bikes, I don't think it happens.
No.
Okay. So
at Pikes Peak, they make everybody that runs electric up there. They have to have a horn going off the whole time.
I remember hearing it was annoying, like in a car alarm.
Yep.
Just going. Woo, woo, woo.
Yep.
So even the deers hear them and stuff because otherwise they'd be running into deer.
Run right into them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think Stark's done a great job. I don't have any problem with that part of it. I think it's just for me and for where I'm riding, that's a tough issue and I think people look at the fact that you're using a generator at the track as kind of an oxymoron and silly.
So I don't care about any of that, right? Okay, you're using the generator. I don't even care about that. What I care about is that you can't take a watt of electricity, put it into a can and dump it into my bike.
Right.
So I want to be able to, as quickly as I can, replenish my fuel and leave.
The other cool thing about a Stark is if you could ride from your house. Right. So if you have a track and you're in an area where you could actually then have a bit of a course or a track or something that you couldn't get away with a gas bike. Yeah. But you could get away with it with it.
There's another bike that's developing one that's a little smaller. I think it's called Dust or something like that. And I think that would be a little bit more kind of user in that, more than a Sur-Ron, but less than a Stark. It would be more like a 125, let's call it.
Yeah. And part of my problem with some of that is, because the guys riding these Sur-Rons aren't gearing up.
No.
So that's another thing so when do you gear up?
Right.
Because I gear up anytime I'm on a dirt bike for the most part. I mean, if I'm riding it, if I'm just testing it, I just got a helmet on. But anything else, if I'm hopping on a track or a trail, I'm geared up. And I could be on a trail and some days I come off the trail and go, I didn't even have to wear a helmet the whole day.
I think that these electric bikes will turn out to be, are you ready? The worst thing for dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because around where I live, the cops are very upset with the Sur-Ron guys and anybody on an electric bike. And so now they've stepped up their patrol on bikes. So now if they see a dirt bike out in the field, they're going to treat them the same way as these electric kids that are just...
Before, the dirt bikes were so small...
They kind of left them alone.
Yeah, because it wasn't that big a deal.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway, you can see all these terrible comments. We're not going to read them all. But... you've been having these cool comments popping off. It was pretty crazy how many it really lights people up. They have strong opinions about it. I don't have any problem with the bike itself. I think it's
Exactly.
Yes, I think for me to want to go to take it to the track and ride, I would be disappointed that I couldn't do the long motos like I'm used to doing.
I have a buddy that bought one.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
And while we're riding, he's done or trying to charge it. It's over because say the bike wasn't fully charged, say whatever. Basically, I think 35 minutes and it's over with.
Right.
And
that's why I think it'd be fine at your house. If you had a track at your house or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're not riding moto, if you're just going to ride some trail by your house, it goes longer because you're not more wide open.
I honestly think if you want an electric bike, you need a cassette battery that you can pop in and out like a DeWalt drill, and then you can have 3 batteries and you can change them out. I think that'd be the way to go.
And even if it's not a full battery replacement,
right,
it's doing something, right? Like that cassette, like you're saying, you're just,
yeah,
and that gives you another 20 or 30%. That one's charging,
right?
Well, and you come in, and that's good for a moto.
I still like the way a dirt bike's gas bike sounds.
No, it sounds terrible when it sounds like an RC car is passing you.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like you said, it's good for the sport to have more people in here. That part's fine. But I'm just not sure about the long-term viability until they can get that magic battery that lasts an hour and a half.
I don't know how they're going to do that.
Right, without it weighing 300, 400 pounds.
Right. Well, they have battery technology that lasts longer and charges faster, but they're more volatile.
Right.
And those are the ones that catch on fire.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so anyway, I don't know if we've accomplished much by talking about it, but just to say that it is a pretty hot topic. It's electrifying, this topic.
It's electrifying. I've said this before, so this is my take always, right?
Uh-huh.
You can cook a steak in a microwave.
Right.
But how does it taste?
Right. You don't really want
do you get the same feel out of it?
Right. And you can cook it quicker, less mess.
But when you're on a grill and you've got charcoal briquettes going, you feel like you're doing something.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. I think everybody will like that analogy. You'll probably get some good comments back, like more pro Donnie comments. All right. So our latest, and then Spencer was out for just a little bit, and we did a bunch of work on the 93s. 1993 mullet time was good, right? The KDX 200 and the RMX 250. We have both bikes now, 93s, and we've kind of made them equal. Schmidt did the suspension on both, but just freshened them up, put good components in. We got some race tech pieces in there. Did the suspension, so it's got fresh fluids in both, clutches in both, new Wiseco pistons in both. So we got them all even, so to speak.
What do you find is the biggest challenge with a 32-year-old bike like that? Like what kind of besides the fluids, what have you seen has been that kind of goes bad?
Like I talked about a minute ago about the stuff that just rots away, old stuff that you wouldn't think would ever go bad. Because usually chain guys...
Intake boot.
Yeah. And I had to get an intake boot for the KDX 200. Now you mention it. A company called Hot Shoe or something makes an intake boot for that one. And I could get one when I put the V-Force recage on. I did that at the same time. So... and they're discontinued, obviously. For sure. So that kind of stuff.
Because what are guys silicone those things up?
Right. And it wasn't all the way through, but it looked terrible. It was like half, 3/4 of the way through. When you bend it, the cracks were there. So I just got a new one.
Hey, I wonder if there's a way to 3D print one and then put a little rubber on one side with a gasket.
Well, there's some guys 3D printing the rear ones for different Michael Palmer is a guy out of Vegas that does some gnarly 3D stuff and is a big Suzuki guy. Vintage guy as a whole. He has some Hondas too, but mainly Suzukis. And he's 3D printed a bunch of cool stuff. He's been showing me air boxes for bikes. So he's been getting into that a bunch. So we did a video of changing the pistons and the clutches. We'll have those coming out soon on those bikes. We also then went on a trail ride comparing the two bikes. And I don't want to give too much away as far as which one, but both of the bikes, you sit down in there too much. Yeah. In the saddle. We got so used to being on top of these newer bikes.
KX500 is like that too.
Right. And that was a bit odd. I remember when I was riding that at Glen Helen, I was like, whoa, don't feel totally normal,
it feels like you can only move so far.
It's hard to get standing up again. Yeah. So when you're down in there, it's hard to want to get standing up. I think maybe that's why they rode sitting down a little bit more. It was tough to get, when you're down in there.
The seats were thick too. It's like tall foam.
Right. All right. What's the other big news? Oh, our CR250, we got one, the McGrath one that was kind of the most popular, the 96 themed one.
Oh, yeah.
We got that shipped off to Virginia. The guy just got it. He's so stoked.
Yeah. So how many of those do you have left?
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested in any of those, they can hit me
You
up.
shipped that to Virginia.
Yeah. Good guy at a Riverside here. I met, gives a decent deal. It's obviously a lot cheaper if it's west, but east was more. I think it was like $600 to $700.
Okay.
And I didn't have to crate it or nothing.
Oh, you didn't?
I did wrap it with plastic, and I put plastic and foam around the pipe so it wouldn't get dented or anything like that.
So how does he just put it in the back of a trailer? Or?
He hauls a bunch of bikes at one time. So when he heads east, guy takes like 20 bikes.
Oh goodness.
And 20 bikes, and he's just doing a big truck like a F350 or something, right? And then hauling a big trailer,
like a gooseneck or
something like that.
Yeah.
He has a couple different setups, and he does it. And he has a guy also, Carmichael's his last name.
So he waits whatever a month or 2 months to get all these bikes
usually only
together.
takes like 2 weeks, like
that quick.
Usually if you hit him up within a week or two, he's got something going, depending upon what direction you're going.
Yeah. Does he pick up anything else?
I think it's mainly bikes, street bikes and dirt bikes.
I got a stand up in Missouri. I'm trying to get back here.
Well, we could ask him.
Yeah,
we could ask him. So he will, because he would probably be coming back with less bikes.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. So we can ask him about that. So it's a pretty good system what he's got going, and then he just maps it out and goes, I'm going to go here. And then, unfortunately, right before he left on this one, he hit some bad weather. And remember there was that snow in El Paso?
Yeah.
And some of those areas that don't get snow?
Yep.
And he was stuck for it messed him up like a day and a half or whatever. So little things like that happen. So anyway, we're moving on CRs, which is cool. Moving on to some of the newer bikes and builds. But let's talk a little Supercross. We mentioned you went to the first 3.
Yep.
This will come out. There'll be another race already have happened. Most likely.
Tampa will happen.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next time.
But we got these first 4 have been amazing, and the last 2 have been really good. It was cool to see Tomac win, and Sexton now has won 2. Jett's won 1, right? That's our winners. But you know what's the interestingest stat? How many podiums does Tomac have in 4 races?
1.
He won.
At least it was a win.
Isn't that the saddest thing?
Yeah.
He's probably
his starts have been horrible.
Yeah, he's probably the fastest dude.
He's for sure.
And we're a little biased, but let's say even if he's the second or third fastest dude, he only has 1 podium.
1 podium.
It's crazy. So that's why he's like 9
he
points.
He got robbed of this weekend's podium. Barsha should have held off Kenny, who would have gotten it.
Right. So anyway, I don't think Barsha had anything for Kenny.
No, I don't think so either.
No, Kenny's been riding good.
Incredible.
So good.
So good.
So that's a big surprise in there. Jett getting hurt. Hey, check your phone while I'm talking about that. Let's just see if there's any news.
Yeah. Let's.
Okay, so the big news of the Phoenix round was Jett, jammed up his leg in the last of the Triple Crowns, which kind of saved him in that he got 8th place overall because he did so good in the other 2 races, right?
Yeah.
So he got really lucky. May just go to one of the main sites out there, see if anybody's posted anything.
No, I don't really have
Nothing
anything.
yet.
It's like a day old, everything. He was supposed to get MRI today.
Right. But this is another thing. He did this on Saturday night. You and I were talking about this, even today, this morning, I'm reading on some deal they post last night in New York. They take P. Diddy, who's in prison, or he's in holding.
He's in jail.
Jail. But it's not prison yet.
It's not prison yet.
Because he's not convicted.
Listen, it's prison adjacent.
Right. He gets to go, and you're going to love this, gets an MRI on his knee on Sunday night at 10 p.m. They did it late because they didn't want a bunch of people seeing it and everything. So apparently
But what would happen to Diddy's knee in jail?
I don't know. Maybe he was playing dodgeball or something.
He got a line and one of the guards kneecapped him.
So he had to go get an MRI.
Listen.
And I'm like, how does Jett not get an MRI on Saturday night?
Why wouldn't you demand it right then and there?
They could go somewhere and get an MRI.
Do you know how much worse the injury gets the more you wait?
Well, and that's got me thinking, though, some fake news going on. Did he maybe already have an MRI on Saturday or Sunday and we don't know yet?
Tomac tore his Achilles
Saturday.
in 23.
Yeah.
In 23.
Oh, yeah.
On Sunday, he had it fixed.
Yeah. In Colorado.
In Vail. He flew from, now they're very close. I don't know if he probably drove because it's close, but he had his Achilles repaired Sunday.
That's awesome.
Right. So the point is correct. It's like you can't go someplace and figure out how to get an MRI in just a little. Listen, how many Doc Bodner's got to know a ton of people, of surgeons that will do it right then and there.
So I think it's weird that, first of all, if it doesn't happen until Monday, that's weird. And then it's weird that they, as much money's involved, Honda and Lawrence's. So, and
hey, what's funny? Lars didn't, I know that he's not happy, but it looked like he wasn't happy for different reasons. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think he thought that maybe he could have finished out. He should have.
He should have stayed out there.
Right. That he could have, rubbed some sand on it, or some spit.
Get up, you'll be all right. Hey, think about I don't want to say the luck of a Triple Crown, but the fact is that if this had been a normal race, he would be an additional 25 points down. He got 8th.
He got totally lucky. He's only 10 points down, I think, in the championship.
10 points down.
And Sexton won that race without winning a race.
That's right.
Yeah, he went.
Who won the final moto?
Like 3-2-2 or something. Is that what he did?
Who won the final moto?
Tomac. But little too late.
Too little, too late.
Right. Or a good one, but too late. But it was cool. I enjoyed seeing him ride so good the last moto.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, it was too late.
I don't want to say that. I feel like I had an inkling that Sexton knew he didn't have to push it to win the overall.
Right. He can say what he wants that he wanted to, but would you?
Right. No. I would have stayed right where I was
at the level these dudes are riding at, and that track was pretty gnarly. Some of the stuff they were doing, he was fine.
And let's not forget that with that win, even though he never won one of the races, he still gets the $150.
Oh yeah. The win bonuses.
The win bonus pays the same.
So he was smart, and so I think it depends what's going on with Jett here. But even if Jett comes back, he hasn't seemed to have been riding 100% like Jett, right?
Right.
And this isn't going to help matters. And wait, what do you think of all this scuttle of agent and getting scammed?
I don't know, because I saw the agent talking back, saying I had nothing to do with this, and
I don't get too far into it, but
neither do I. It just feels odd.
The stuff I read is pretty incriminating.
Yeah.
On the lawsuit that they found, that stuff's pretty incriminating. And at a certain point, also, somebody should have had some oversight on him, like whether somebody in the Lawrence family should have been maybe keeping a little bit better. But either way, this is something that's taken away from your focus, right?
Yeah.
You have something that's taking you away from your focus.
You know what's really surprising? Hunter was way better last year.
Yeah.
He's not even in the mix, dude.
And I wonder if it's weighing on him
more.
Hey, you know what's interesting? When Racer X and different media people are posting about this thing, there's a bunch of people commenting let's just talk moto. Let's not talk about this kind of stuff. And it's really interesting because I don't see it the same in the sense that it is the sport. Like if somebody commented right away, if Mahomes, the Kansas City quarterback, if he had this problem with his agent, it'd be all over the main things back and forth. That's part of being a popular sport.
Well, we're the only sport that I know. It doesn't matter. Other motorsports, obviously football, baseball. We're the only sport that we don't know what these guys make. We don't know the kind of money that's involved. In every other sport, how much money is
everything's
involved.
Hush. So much stuff.
I think that a lot of people feel they don't want to say how much they make because it feels like it separates them from the fans. Because this is a grassroots style sport.
Right.
But the point is, we have no idea how much money's involved in this litigation.
Yeah, they threw some numbers in there.
They did.
$600,000. We're at the $600,000 range.
Oh, they did.
Oh, yeah. So
I didn't see that.
Weege did a real good job on that as Racer X. He broke down the lawsuit, which Mathis is the one that found the lawsuit, apparently. And
it's all public record, right?
Yeah, so he just went and found it.
Because it was filed in Florida or something,
and he had the agent on the show the night before, which I listened to some of that. And it sounded like Mathis was friends with him.
Yeah.
But he also played the good media guy and said, hey, this doesn't look great, kind of thing.
Right.
And then he found that the next day he found the thing and then they outlined it all and it was like $150,000 here, $200,000 here. And it outlines it in that lawsuit. It's pretty gnarly. So it is kind of sketchy. And I would think if I had that going on, say I'm not even racing, right? When you have problems in your life, and it could be, you could take the numbers way down. It doesn't have to be $600,000. It could be $10,000. Okay, it could be $10,000 or $5,000. And if you have somebody that's messing you over for this money in your back of your head, you can't focus on what you're supposed to be doing.
For sure.
Because you feel like you just got ripped off.
For sure.
Okay, so we agree. I think it would have to affect you. Now, it'd be hard for it not to.
But don't you think there's multiple problems with them?
Oh, yeah.
Because the bike is not working right.
But I'm a real pump the brakes on that deal because the bike worked just fine outdoor, and those 3 SMX races, did Jett look like he was suffering?
No.
He was just fine. Guy goes out after
Right.
being off all summer, goes to those 3 SMX races, and
Yeah, but
bike's perfect.
Then that might be correct because it's definitely something's affected both those guys.
Right.
Jett is not like at San Diego when him and Tomac were battling. I was sitting with my buddies and I was like, hey, at some point I want Tomac to win, right? But I'm like, at some point Jett's going to have this blast of energy and he's going to go for some kind of explosive pat. Never happened.
I noticed you pick Tomac in fantasy every week. No matter
Yeah,
what.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm nothing.
You're right. You're right a quarter of the time.
I've been right a quarter of the time.
So
hey, our fantasy, I've won twice, and the
That's
second
crazy.
time I won was because of what?
they do, what do they call that
The
thing?
wild
The
card.
wild card. And
I got lucky on one wild card.
Yeah, I've been off like 1 or 2 each time.
I'm like in the lead. Did you see that? I'm
Yeah.
like up in the tied for the lead.
I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible at it. So I'm just donating to the lunch fund and the winning fund.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So anyway, it was fun. It's been an amazing Supercross. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And if you don't like Supercross, then you can just have to skip. I should preface that, right? Skip ahead like a minute or 2 if you don't like Supercross.
No, listen, man. If you don't like Supercross, I might say skip the whole show. I'm sorry. This is Supercross loving area.
All right, so we're hoping that Tampa. Back to West Coast real quick. There's guys that, other than Barsha, Webb, Anderson, Tomac and Sexton and Jett and Hunter right back there. Not as good as we thought. All those guys are riding good.
Crazy.
Okay, so that's. I think we're optimistic, and so far everybody's staying healthy, other than Prado. And
it's a shame.
We've seen this over the last 25 years, 30 years.
Yep.
30 years.
Yep.
They come over, Euros come over, they're awesome world champions.
Yep.
What happens?
Maybe not cut out for Supercross right out of the gate.
No. And so and unfortunately, Supercross is 70 to 80% of what you're hiring somebody for.
For sure.
And then you hire this guy. From what I understand, Kawasaki paid this guy a lot of money.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And Jason Anderson's making him look silly. So on the same team.
Right.
Okay. I'm thinking that's kind of like, I don't see Prado being better than Jason Anderson for another 2 years, 3 years.
Ever?
Okay. So we can get your thoughts on that, but I don't see Prado.
I don't want to say ever because Prado's a young, enthusiastic guy.
How long is Anderson going to ride? Another year or two?
2 at the most, probably.
But if I was Kawasaki, it's like I'd rather have Anderson there for Supercross season because he's legit. If he doesn't mess up,
he's held off Jett. Like Jett legitimately couldn't pass him.
He's highly motivated to hold off Jett. He likes that. Yeah.
Jett and Jett's brother.
And Hunter. Yeah.
He
calls him Jett's brother.
He doesn't call him Hunter. He calls him Jett's brother.
Funny.
Yeah. He goes, Jett's brother, that guy? Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then Hunter straight said, I don't like him.
Right. Yeah.
There was like,
I saw those
Anderson
clips.
was a little more subtle, and Hunter went straight for the jugular. I don't like that guy. Nothing about him.
Right. So anyway, it's been fun. It's been awesome. Now, what's been a little bit surprising is Deegan on the West Coast. I thought he would do a lot better. He still looks amazing, right? But he suffered with some bad starts. And then this Davies and Smith. Who else has been up there a little bit? Beaumer. Oh my gosh. All 3 of those guys are a bit of a surprise, especially Beaumer really is a bit of a surprise. He struggled at Phoenix. When we were watching the qualifying in the daytime, he crashed a couple times in there.
That.
Yeah, so he's crashing. And you figure from Arizona, Havasu, you figure hard pack.
I think that the pressure got to him.
Leading. Yeah, he's got all his family and friends there.
It's 2 hours from his house to there.
You're right. They showed his grandparents in the stands. He's got everybody.
Yeah.
I think they're planning the T-shirt celebration and
sure.
Right. Custom shirts.
This West Coast Championship for sure is up in the air. There is no guarantee on who's going to win this.
And I'm a Deegan fan, of course.
Me too.
I'd like to see him do well. I've liked what Brian's done there, and he does talk some silly trash and stuff. But it's kind of fun. It's great.
It's fun.
And
I like Deegan too. I always have, but I do have a soft spot for Beaumer. I like where he's come from.
Oh yeah.
I like the color he's riding.
He's got another couple years in that.
He's got another couple years.
Yeah.
And it's my second hometown. I've said this before. I have a house in Lake Havasu, and that's where he's from. And And yeah, I've seen him jet ski. I've seen him out riding jet skis, dude.
At Body Beach.
Yeah, Body Beach.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so now East Coast.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We can't go without speaking about Jordan winning Triumph's first race.
That's triumphant, and
it's triumphant.
it is pretty cool because
like you have to be. Listen, the more we have in
under
this sport,
under a year from when they started racing.
The more we have in the sport, the better. Right?
Yeah.
And these guys have put their neck on the line to develop this bike, and to see them get a win after a year is amazing.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. So it's rad. So now who's riding one of those East Coast? Faulkner. So if he's up to speed, we don't know, but I'm hoping he is, because that could be somebody that really shakes things up. You got him and Kitchen.
Yep.
There's got to be some star guys.
Yeah.
And then 16. What's his name? The one Vial. The one last year.
He's defending.
Yeah. Defending champ. And he's kind of a quiet one. I want to say he lucked into that one a little bit last year. So we'll see if he can back it up. So you got him. You got some really good guys back there.
I think that it's, again, wide open because Kitchen is so fast.
Right.
And we know Faulkner can be fast if he stays healthy. Right. Yeah. And Vial obviously is going to be better than he is last year. I mean, not better, but he's obviously learned.
You would think.
Learn some more.
Right.
So you definitely.
And now he's watching Beaumare. He's like, I better do good.
Right.
So anyway, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't get enough watching races. Yeah.
I have a whole ritual when I sit down, like in my living room. I literally run everybody off and don't talk to me or anything. I just want to sit down and focus.
What do you think of the Triple Crowns versus regulars?
I don't like them.
Yeah, it is pretty gnarly on the guys. The pressure. This is
my point.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But you did bring up a good point about Jett crashing the last race.
Okay, so
he gets 8th place. Gets 8th place points overall. Pretty good rather than 22nd place points, right?
Yeah, I mean, for that, it's great. But the fact is that every time these guys start, the start is the most dangerous aspect of the sport.
Exactly.
And how many times have we seen somebody injured right on the start?
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Okay, well, we been dragging, huh?
Yeah.
We haven't even got to questions or anything.
We're into this for 40 minutes almost.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
No, because mine's way less than that. I started my own timer, so I know you wouldn't give me no fake news.
There's no fake news. 38 minutes and 22 seconds.
Our Moto perfected. This is Rui, a guy out of Michigan, I believe. He makes these greasers. And then we have our grease gun with these 3D printed bases because they don't tip over so easy.
Yeah.
And look at this. We have a Zerk thing. We can plug it in right here. And then you can pull it out and just have this fine tip. So when you're just in your shop and you just want to get a little grease on your finger or drop it onto the axle or something, you can use that. So we got some good footage of just when I was just greasing one of these up on our TX 300 build. It was pretty nice and easy.
What are those made out of?
It's aluminum.
It's aluminum.
And they're just precision. So when they slide in, the grease will just pop out of those two holes and it just fills the whole void. So like your linkage in between the two bearings, it just fills that whole void. You pull it out, you put your sleeve back in. I've done 2 sets of bikes now, swing arm, linkage, everything, and not one roller lost.
Wow.
Yeah, so much time, so much of a time saver. So I'm really happy with those. Those are really cool. These grease guns, Tech 167 has the guns and the base, and those really are helpful. Those are really nice. So, and we use those on our TX frame, our TX 300 build, which we have some cool photos. We just welded up some tabs onto the frame, and you talked about how in the 90s you would do that, right?
Always welding tabs.
Yeah. So I hate having the plate or the, what do you call that, bar?
Yeah.
And you have to hold that bar and put your skid plate on.
Spin and all kinds of stuff.
And most of these time we're riding these bikes, it's so much better to change the oil, to wash the bikes with the skid plate off. We get tons of people who don't even bother to take the skid plate off when they change the oil. And
Did Dallas put those on for you?
Yeah. So we welded those on, so it's totally cool. So we got those on. I'm gonna drill the frame and put the coolant catch can in. While we had it all, we power washed the engine, used some gunk, cleaned it and scrubbed it. It was dirty in some spots, and then I got the cylinder pulled off and the head, and that's all at TMR already. Already out there.
You're already doing work.
Oh yeah, we're jamming on.
You don't have a middle gear, right?
I do. I do idle at times. Yeah.
Well, no, you go into full idle. It's wide open or idle or wide open. There is no middle gear.
Yeah. So, we have a few other videos that are out. I talked about the 250FX videos, and then there's also your what do you call it, adventure bike, the 890?
Yeah.
So we have that 890 with that you took to South Dakota.
Yep.
Let's throw a couple of those photos from South Dakota so you mind how cool those look. And then we got pictures of Grant. People freaked out when they saw him. That day I was really busy. We were shooting multiple bikes. I never went up there to where you shot. And then like a couple months later, I'm out there and I go, I do this jump, which took me a while to do.
On my bike.
On your 350.
Yeah.
And I go, that's the jump that you film Grant doing.
Yeah.
The jump that I had to work up to a little while on a 350 XCF.
You wouldn't do it on a stock bike.
I wouldn't do it on a stock one, but the built one cleared it. I was happy. I was like, okay, cool. He's jumping on an 890.
On an 890.
It was insane.
Routinely jumping it.
Like no big deal.
No big deal.
So the photos of him riding on the track at Kuya were just incredible.
Yeah.
So he rides on the track and then he goes into the rock section, got some cool footage.
The problem with Grant is this. When you're talking to him about whatever section, he goes, oh, no, you just go like this and blip the throttle. And I'm like, no, dude. I have to think about it all day before I think I'm going wide open to make it.
Right. All right. Well, we got some cool comments to read, and it'll hopefully be fun for you. Let's get started here. First one is this is the best overall dirt bike, and which I talked with the 350 XCF. He says if Yamaha made Hammerman. If Yamaha made a YZ 350 FX, I'd buy one today. And this is a common thread on a lot of the questions I get in comments because a lot of guys are asking about that with the Yamahas. I wish they would. I'm kind of suspicious that they hired Caleb Russell and Cody Webb doing some stuff, and so maybe they're going to get there. We'll see.
You know, it's funny. I saw Mike Ulrich at Supercross, and I said, how many times? He goes, every day.
Every day.
Says something.
Right.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And when I bug him about it, he said, well, we talked to Chad Reed, and I go, stop. I don't care what Chad Reed says.
He's not the rest of us.
No. He can ride a 450 just fine. So anyway, okay. KX500, very clean build. It's probably the first I've seen with the decompression release. He liked that on your KX500?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Great crisp running bike right there. Probably throws roost to the Midwest. And that's right. His Larry Day H5s. H5s are those are the Kawasaki's. He must be a Kawasaki guy. Yeah. Okay. Then this is on our KTM 500 EXC. This is your bike that was 10 years old that you just sold to Scott.
Yep. Fast
forward to January 25. Leftover new 24s selling for less than $9,000.
Wow.
So buy one, dude.
Yeah.
Buy one of those Nikes.
I'm trying to explain to Jim to buy one. He has an old Harley. He doesn't ride anymore. I go, sell that Harley.
Yeah.
And go buy. I'm like,
and he's in the big city. He's not going to really leave from his house on that Harley, right?
No.
And ride down the 91.
No, that's over with.
Over, okay.
I don't even think it will start right now.
Well, there's for sure a puddle of oil under it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No matter what.
Dead battery and a puddle of oil.
Okay.
And it won't stop.
So, KTM, everybody's like, I'm going to get rid of my KTMs or I'm not going to buy a KTM.
Yeah.
If you can find a deal, I would still get one.
Yeah.
There's going to be parts available. Everybody's worried about parts. On the way here, Rado and I were talking. He's got this guy in Nova Scotia. I'll try to get more info on it. He has a KTM 300 that has 1,300 hours on the stock bottom end. He's only done 3 pistons in the thing. 1,300 hours. Now, he's not riding desert wide open stuff or anything, but he's riding trail riding stuff. I don't know how fast he is or anything, but 1,300 hours, not even changing the oil, but like every 40 to 50 hours or something crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You know what? He's in Canada. He's probably running that on maple syrup.
So anyways, it was gnarly. Okay, 066 motocross. Your videos are great. This is on the fork height one.
Yep.
So much easier to understand than some of the other videos out there people make. Things sound and look so complicated. Thanks. Okay, well that made me feel good, right?
Yeah.
This one's really good. Simply Moto 07. Are you in order? You have those?
I've lost my way.
Oh, okay. This one's really cool. This is from our last show, Flaming Youth, the Moto show.
Yep.
I love this show, but Donnie interrupting Jay all the time is frustrating. What do you think of that one?
Well, I think that's my job. And you got to be careful because if you tell me something like that, what's going to happen?
Right. It'll be worse.
It's going to be worse.
Yeah. So I should tell Simply Moto, don't tell him anything because it's like when your wife tells you something and then sometimes you.
She says that I do push the limit on things all the time.
All right. So stop interrupting.
All right. I'll stop.
Hey. All right. Our off-road bikes too. This is on the 250 FX video we just did. Just got a 25 about a month ago. Love it. Much more fun to ride than my previous KTM 350 XCF. So he must be riding in smaller stuff because I still prefer a 350 XCF in most places. But like that race, that FX. Insert a little clip of video.
Yep.
So on that FX, I couldn't have. I think my 350 would have been too much.
Too much.
So there's certain places where I feel like
I don't know.
Racing.
The XCF it feels like much mellower power in terms of,
yeah.
compared to the SXF.
Yes, because of the gearing especially.
Yep.
Okay, no control 556. I hope Kawasaki is coming out with a two-stroke, will encourage Yamaha to make a 300 two-stroke with electric start. Have you seen all the stuff Cody Webb's doing? Like he's putting on electric start. He's done hitless. He's tried different carburetors.
Yeah.
He's doing everything to these YZ250s that have existed for the last 20 years of the same bike. And everybody's really digging it. And he's like new to it and, changing stuff. So I'm hopeful too that it'll help Yamaha make something else.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I still like a 350 FX first over a two-stroke, but
I would too.
Okay.
I don't think Yamaha realizes what would happen if they made one.
Well, yeah, they're just worried that it would just kill the sales of the other two bikes.
I don't see how that would be possible, but
I have a 2018 KTM 350 XC. Okay, good bike. Oh, this is Ramp and Pop 44. I'm thinking about trading for a 25 KTM 350 XCF or a 25 Yamaha YZ250 FX. I wish Yamaha made a YZ350. We're noticing a trend here. So choosing between those two bikes is really tough. A YZ250F and a KTM 350 XCF. If you had both brand new 25s. First of all, the KTM is more expensive. Depending upon your situation, it's probably a decent amount more expensive. I don't know if you can find a deal on them. If they were priced evenly, then I would go 350 for most cases. Resale's gonna be better. Durability, longer, life, lasting, all that stuff. But the Yamaha, if you're racing, and you can stay in that small, the advantage of racing at 250 in like woods courses and GNCCs and those types of things is it's not going to beat you up. Now I'm talking about vet guys mainly, and I'm assuming that's what our guy here is. So this is a tough thing, and we get in this common thread with the YZ350.
yeah, here's the problem for me, and that is that it took me how many years to go from a 450 to a 350, and now you want me to go from a 350 to a 250.
No. I think we're good. We've settled into where we like.
I think we're settled in. For me, the 350 size-wise is the most incredible thing I've ever.
Oh, it's amazing.
And my buddy Scott is always very positive about stuff he's discussing. He actually rode my SXF and says that bike's pretty amazing.
They are good.
Yeah.
On the track, I still lean to being on 250F just because of my skill set and how I'm comfortable.
That thing for sure is. That thing's as fast as any 450 I've ever ridden.
Right, because the 450s, 15 years ago, were like that. Yeah.
It's
even 10 years ago.
It's so fast.
Right. All right. We got another one on our must-know dirt bike hacks tips. This is a video that has 125 tips, which, hey, just so you know, we shot another video like this, 133 things, I'm calling it. We haven't counted how many things, but we shot the video the other day.
Just call it 133.
We called it 133 things. I think it's going to be well more than that, but we went over a dirt bike. Every piece on a dirt bike, I kind of walked over and talked about tips and tricks for it.
Yeah. On
the dirt bike itself. And we had 3 different dirt bikes. A motocross 2-stroke, a motocross 4-stroke, and then an enduro dual sport.
Nice.
Pretty cool. So that's coming. Okay, but on this video, if you have a friend who is new to dirt biking or working on bikes or not a very good mechanic or wants to learn more, this video, Must Know Dirt Bike Hacks, is for you. This is killer. Love the tips. This is from Oscar Hokensoak. This is killer. Love the tips. So fast. I don't have to watch 4 minutes of talking for tips like other DB YouTubers. Oil on chain. So helpful to have highly experienced people like you tell us what works best. It's not always the product. Yes, you are honest. You support good products in a spectacular way by framing them in a product spotlight and then move on. I'm not saying that other YouTubers are evil. Weird. We're only in it for the ad revenue because they all pitch is new tools, products. They're perfectly nice guys who love to ride just like we do. But so many tools, products are unnecessary. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. As long as you keep making videos, I'm here for it. New adventures. So I've never thought about that, but I do try to put myself in other people's positions.
Get to the point.
Yeah, but also to suggest products that not everyone can afford. Like these grease tools $45 for a set for big bikes.
Yeah.
That's pretty inexpensive for that kind of tool.
For what they did to make it?
That's only for somebody that's going to be tearing apart bikes somewhat regularly.
For sure.
If you're doing 1 or 2 a year, that's probably, would be cool. And you have, but you don't have to have that. And I tell people here, you can use this oil. It's going to be okay. So you don't have to have this or that, cool thing. So we tried to do that. All right. Well, anyway, last show, Destroyer, CBH 148. Hey, fellas, I recall hearing somewhat that a two-stroke cylinder that's been replated by Millennium and some of the other businesses offer Nikasil plating surfaces have a plating layer which is actually stronger than the OEM plating, say from Yamaha or brand new OEM cylinder. So first of all, we do use Millennium on our plating, and the stuff is as good or stock. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's better, but it's as good as stock. So on many of the bikes, first of all, the stock cylinders aren't available, like all those CRs we did.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good core cylinder to get it replated, and the stuff we have the things last as long as the stock ones. So yeah, it's amazing. So we use those a lot in the two strokes. Here's a good one: Triumph X-Vacation. How do you manage to keep your bike chain so clean? We don't put chain lube on it.
No chain lube.
No chain lube. So, and there are a few more chain lubes coming out now that are oil based. That's fine. And so we use, when we wash our bikes, we'll just use like an oily lube. We'll use a lube to then blow off and get the water that repels water. Any type of lube like that. There's so many. So we'll use that. And then if to ride oil, any type of oil works awesome. Any oil.
Yeah.
Works awesome. Okay. Can you give a long-term update on the CRF 450 RX? This is from DIY Jeff. So the RX, we didn't do a final video on that bike. I'm kind of disappointed about that. I probably should have.
Is it gone?
It's gone.
Oh, gone.
Okay. That bike did really well. 24 CRF 450 RX. I was pleasantly surprised, and I rode that bike a lot more than I thought. Of the, had about 80 hours, I think. And I would say I probably put 10 or 12 of those.
When you couldn't make it up the hill, you'd ride that and Spencer would ride yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I got sick, the two-stroke I was riding wasn't as great as I would have liked it some last summer. So, and the suspension was so good. AHM had done the suspension, and it was so good that, especially when I was tired on that bike, I felt way better.
Yeah.
So it was just a great bike. I'm real happy with it. I'm looking forward to doing something with the 25 if we can. So we'll work on that. From our last show, Alan Carter says, Jay, had no idea you have Amazon stuff till today when you responded to my Cardo systems email. So I replied back to this guy. How nice of me. You should let your followers know about your Amazon shopping pages. So when you send us a question or whatever, we can send you a link and it has our Amazon and Rocky Mountain links, because some stuff isn't available through Rocky Mountain. So like products that are just not Moto related, we'll send them the Amazon links. So try to help people. A lot of times they want to know that they found the right thing. So that helps a ton. This one's good. This is from the Carl Joseph. I know this guy. He says super glue is Jay's only kryptonite. The only time he wears gloves, he says that was in our show. So when I hate when I get super glue on my fingers and it's done and you got to sand it off for a while. It's like it sucks. But I
think when people see you washing the inside of the ratio right to get the oil out with more gasoline, they lose their minds.
Yeah. This one's a Donnie one too.
Oh, good.
Earth Surfer USA. Donnie, man, don't go to the wedding. I don't want you there. That means you better go, man, and make sure you have a good time. All the negative add up in their heads over time, and they never forget. That never goes in a good direction. Go ahead, ask her if I'm right. Doug in Michigan.
Here's the problem, and you know my wife. I think I'm a very fortunate person to get away with what I do. That's all I'm going to say.
There's another comment on that too. Okay, we have a video on YouTube of putting a bike on a stand.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you would think that's
self-explanatory,
right? But a lot of people don't have experience doing it. We show a couple different techniques and ways to do it.
When you're shorter, do you show shorter techniques?
Yeah. Well, every technique I use is a shorter technique.
Yeah.
So that yes, I give that technique.
Yeah.
And so this guy comments. J4 President. That's kind of a cool name.
Yeah, it is.
Bro made the bike look like it was 100 pounds. Laughing face. This is another YZ250FX comment from Bruce Morrison. Dang it. Love to have the FX, but I need a plate. So maybe the WR. Is the WR compliant with California emission rules? No, it's not. Nothing is. Okay. So the only way in California, if you want a California license plate, is to buy a street legal dual sport out of the gate.
Yep.
So a Honda CRF 450 RL or a KTM EXC Husky gas. Don't bother trying to buy something that you think you're going to convert over, or just go register it at your place out of state.
Sidetrack
hey, you
here.
just interrupted.
So sorry.
Okay, so go buy, or just go register it out of state. So now I'm going to say, you just, okay, now go ahead.
Go ahead and pass it up to you. Hey, what's this whole deal now? Like this thing with California now, are we now green stickering everything again?
Well, there's just one sticker.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they just abandoned all the stuff they've been yelling at us about for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's over. Someone finally said it's over.
Well, because of, you know why.
But here's what we don't know yet. Carb still needs to chime in, and apparently Carb's still going to give some input. Something's going to happen. The other thing we don't know fully yet is if you own a 22, 23, 24 bike, whatever, okay, that doesn't, you just have a MSO, you just have a title.
Yeah.
Okay. And most of them don't even have titles. They just have certificate of origins or MSOs, right?
MSO, yep.
If you have one of those, we don't know that you can go get a sticker yet. So we don't know how that's going to play out.
Well, I have a title for mine because it got registered in another state.
Right.
And actual license plate on my XCF.
Right.
XCF has a license plate.
Right. So we register most of ours out of state.
Yeah.
Out of California. That solves the problem. Jean Turner is the one that she works with Cycle News.
Yeah, I know
and
Jean.
she has I forget her YouTube thing, but she has a great, she's keeping everybody updated. She's involved in those comments and concerns. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because I'm like, well, wait, are the current bikes that way? Is it everything from 2021 back or whatever it was?
Right.
Like,
no, it's totally confusing.
It's very confusing. But I know that they changed it because they were out of money, because they liked the amount of income that was coming in.
Right. See, this is a smaller set for small bikes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
I'm used to it.
I apologize.
I'm used to it.
Okay.
This is from the last show, Doug Derby. He's wrote me a few times.
Nice.
Destroyer show. Spencer beats Jay Shadow. He's a little bit taller. Another great show. That's we were talking about living in somebody's shadow.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's Alex Coast is talking about, is the Tuss stand any good? He's talking about the stand that scissors up, and I've had a few people use those. We don't use them, and people give me a lot of grief because we work on the bikes just on a regular stand level.
Yep.
And I like to just sit down many times and just work on the bike wherever I need to, because I'm moving so many bikes around. People think I should have it on a scissor lift and bring it up. If you like that, that's fine. For me, we're just moving too much around and I just don't bother.
I know guys that have an actual motorcycle lift, the full lift, and they put a stand on that lift and will raise the whole bike.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of work.
And it's tough to get to things that are, then you have to lower it down and hit your knees on the thing. And I'm just used to it right now. I feel like maybe someday when I'm older, and I'm pretty old right now, so when I get to where I can't do that kind of stuff, I feel like if you can't sit down and get up off the ground and work, you probably shouldn't be riding a dirt bike, right? Yeah. And if you can't lift your bike and put it on a stand, probably shouldn't be riding a dirt bike, right? Here's your sign or whatever. Yeah. So that's my theory, is if I can keep...
What about those like
electric stands? Right. That's another thing, is my theory is on that is if you can't lift your bike and put it on there, you probably shouldn't be riding. Okay. All right. So yes, this Tuss stand is pretty good for that, if you're wondering. This is another comment on our dirt bike hacks and tips video, which is great. He says, "Hey Jay, for Glen Helen Moto Track, would you recommend MX-14 or MX-34? They're both amazing. So MX-14 in the morning until 12 or 1, MX-34 if you stay for second motos.
People aren't showing up with multiple wheels, dude.
But they should.
I agree with that.
2 wheels. Everyone should have an extra wheel, rear wheel. So, and different sprockets you can have set up.
Bit.
So having an extra rear wheel is amazing. So I say, if you're going to go to Glen Helen, bring that MX-14 in the morning. If it's wintertime, you can usually get away with it all day. If it's summertime, you'll probably, noon or 1, going to want to switch it over to the 34 for your second motos. So that's kind of my thought there. Okay. Donnie Bell's quote of the show: "Drink more Ovaltine." I laughed my butt off. Keep it up, fellas. That's from Ryan Rusk. So I don't remember what the context was.
I think I was saying something about like the decoder or just some kind of commercial in the middle of something.
Right.
And it's like,
This one's from the last show too. Bo Hunter says he lives in Idaho and he's got a Sierra 450 RL, which we're talking about. I ride the bike everywhere, including pretty difficult single track, and he runs the D606 front and rear, and it hasn't let him down yet, and he's actually got a full year out of them with 2,500 miles. So that I get a lot of tire questions about a magic tire.
That's a lot of miles on that.
So he must be doing a lot of asphalt and dirt roads.
Yeah.
And it sounded like the trail thing was kind of secondary.
Sure.
So it's a good tire for that, long lasting. This is what guys will run in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because it's durable, it's strong, it's going to hold up. But on the tight single track, you'd rather have something else. But it's a good tire.
For sure.
Okay. Must know dirt bike hacks. We still get so many comments on this. You're going to love this one. This is from Quentin Ruggles. Been a motorcycle mechanic for about 18 to 20 years. These are all great tips. Don't use 100% of them, but I should. LOL. So I thought that was funny.
At least he knows his faults.
I commented on a video about Donnie automatically being cool. This is from Rob H.
Oh, I like
at
Rob.
the Destroyer Show. Yeah. Because of how many bikes he owned, especially orange ones. But then he goes and gets out of going to a wedding so he can go to Supercross. From a dirt bike's perspective, that is the very definition of cool. Plus, he has a wife that tolerates his dirt bike obsession. Like I said, automatically cool.
Right.
All right. So he thinks you're way cool.
I like this guy.
Right. Oh, hey, run that thing. There's just a study that says that chopping wood increases more testosterone than any other sport. What do you think?
Well, I didn't know chopping wood was a sport. I think that's something for survival.
Right.
Okay.
But if you were to chop wood or go ride a dirt bike, like when I left after doing an hour and a half, I did that 51-minute race.
Yeah.
I felt like a man.
You felt like a man.
Yeah. Like I just chopped a bunch of wood.
Have you seen those comparisons to people playing soccer and motocross? Like they don't even get hit and they fall over in soccer.
Yeah.
And then a guy will go off a 50-foot whatever and wad it up and goes and runs to his bike. I think that is more testosterone.
Yeah, I got a good tech one right here. Yeah, from Bill R. It's because it's more YZ250FX. Yeah. This is Bill R. wrote me this one, and I wrote him back. This is a couple weeks ago. I just bought my son a 2025 250FX for Xmas. Now, we call it Christmas. Don't take the Christ out of Christmas, people.
We gotta leave Christ in there.
All right. Just you could afford the extra little typing strokes there.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, Bill R. He rides mostly single track with some slow enduro with many KTMs, XCWs. I don't like all the issues with the new KTMs, gas tank, the two-stroke oil tank cracking, holes in the swing arm from rocks, and trouble with keeping rear spokes tight, and uncertain future of KTM. So he went with the YZ. Okay. All valid reasons, but all those reasons he listed, some of those things still exist on the Yamahas. Okay,
right.
Just so pump the brakes a little bit, but fine. I got no problem with you getting a Yamaha. They're great bikes. So good job. I just ordered the GYTR 8-ounce flywheel. Okay, cool. And I was wondering how much lower gearing should you go? They claim the top speed is 89 miles per hour. Like that's a ton. Would you recommend 2 teeth on the rear, or maybe going from a 1351 to a 1250, which is about 3 teeth difference? We really enjoy your show. And thank you so much for your time. Okay, I think the KTM issues are way overblown. That is what happens when you're Goliath. So everybody's posting everything. They damage a swing arm and then they post it all over, and everybody sees the same. Right. Everybody sees the same top end blown up on all these different posts. Right. So that's what happens. Okay. However, that Yamaha bike's great. We love it. The flywheel weight will get him what he wants on that down start, and then playing with mapping, what I feel like is the next thing. For gearing, I have a big concern with everybody's so quick to want to change gearing massively. So there's only 2 people that really change gearing huge on off-road bikes, and that's hard enduro guys are the main guys that change gearing huge, like what he's talking about. Some of these guys will run a 12 or even 11 front sprocket, and they're taking off in 3rd gear. So they only use 3rd and 4th gear. That is it. Right. So you have to remember, this bike now is limited to where it can go and use, So you're tapped out in 6th gear going 55 miles an hour or whatever, trying to connect a trail or whatever. So you have to kind of figure what you want to accomplish. So I don't really care what the top end speed is. If it says it goes 100, I don't care, because I'm just going to use that when I connect. I just want to make a first and second so dang low that you are just shifting to third as quick as possible. So I would test ride in a real world conditions first before making any changes. My guess is stock or maybe 1 tooth max change on the rear, bigger. I assume you're riding tight stuff, and that's why you're concerned about having that tall 6 gear for the dirt roads. Will be fun connecting trails, etc. So that's my thought, is that I still like having that tall 6 gear, because when you're connecting trails, you're just lugging it. You're not going to go 90 miles an hour, but you can be going, 60, 70 and just be like cruising. You're not tapped out.
Yeah.
And when we take bikes that don't have a 6, we know, you notice it pretty big.
Big time.
Yeah. So it's nice to have. Now, as far as the gearing, I tell guys to go test it first. If you got a brand new bike, I wouldn't just go change gearing just based on a theory.
Right.
Yeah, you should go ride it first. Go to some sections that you're concerned about. Put it in first gear. Okay. Oh, come back down that hill and go put it in second gear. Can it make it? Okay, so check those types of things out. And then your main flowy stuff or whatever, can you carry third? Where can you carry third? So weigh all those things out, okay? Then go, okay, now I want to go one bigger on the rear sprocket or whatever. But I'm thinking most of these, like that bike behind you, I don't know that it's going to need a drastic change for tighter conditions. 1, maybe 2 on the rear sprocket would be max. And then you're putting a bigger sprocket.
Or you can just put it down into first gear.
Right. So that's something to consider. So hard enduro guys are the main guys that want that. Oh, and they're unloading that thing in like third gear. They're just going, you see them at the bottom, just revving.
Oh, yeah.
Loading that flywheel and just going, whoop, and taking off. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think next we should go over. Oh, we got somebody calling me there. That's going to have to wait.
I don't want to talk to you.
You know what we're going to do first is our ProX read. I've had this printed up for like a month or 3.
Okay,
and I haven't read it.
Okay.
You ready?
Read it.
Because we are sponsored, and it's a great company. Maintenance and rebuilds are the less glamorous side of our sport, but that doesn't mean they have to be complicated and expensive. ProX Racing Parts offers OEM or better quality replacement components at a fair price for almost anything that wears out on your bike, from chains, sprockets, brakes, bearings, to pistons, connecting rods, clutches, and even filters. Find what you need at ProX.com or wherever you like to buy parts. Rocky Mountain Link, and the rods, the bearings, that's all stuff made in Japan. So when we rebuild our cranks, we'll use a ProX rod.
That sounded very professional.
It did. Yeah. So I think my friend at Race Winning Brands, Kevin's one that wrote that, which is really good. We already did that. Mm-hmm. So I think we should talk about. We need to move on to CDs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah. Let's go.
Do you have anything?
We didn't. We're
not there yet. Okay. I don't know. We'll see how much time we have.
Yeah, we're long and.
Oh, we're long. Okay. So in 1978.
I'm only long because I have to go do something.
You're right.
Go pick up a little one.
Okay. So 1978.
Yep.
How old were you? You were old.
I was in 78. I would have been 11 years old.
Dude, you're so much older than me.
Yeah.
Okay. So
crazy how we're even talking the same decade.
Right. So, and then Dynasty, the album we showed last with Destroyer, came out the same year. Mm-hmm. So this is something that was somewhat unheard of, that this band came out with 4 solo albums. So each guy did their own album. Gene, Ace, Paul, and Peter. Peter's the drummer. We got our singer or lead singer, and he plays guitar, like rhythm guitar. And then you got Gene playing bass, Ace playing lead guitar right here.
Did you ever hear like this? I don't know it, so I'm asking you, like how they decided the makeup and what they were going to put on?
No, not totally. I've heard some stories, I guess.
All right, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just curious. Like,
I thought you had some great stories.
No, I said I don't know.
You don't contribute much here. If you're going to bring something up, I think you should have a plan.
You're the KISS expert, dude. All I'm doing is I'm just riding along.
I thought
you want to talk about AC/DC? Let's go.
Yeah.
But this is you.
I got popped on using AC/DC music on my Instagram video yesterday. Bummer. So,
what?
Yeah, it's jacked.
Have you ever been popped before?
Nope, never happened on Instagram. It's never happened. So something's changed.
Something's changed.
Yeah, it was a bummer. So I had to pull the video down, took the sound out, and it had been up, and it had like 100,000 views or whatever. It'd been up,
my gosh.
Yeah, it had been up for like 6 or 7 hours.
You probably got fact checked.
Right. Okay, so tell me how you rank these albums, and I'll tell you how I rank them. Which one's last?
Well,
Sorry, first.
I would say probably last would probably be Peter.
So Peter Criss's album, he's the drummer. He was more of a jazz sound on his solo stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Soft.
unfortunately, you want to know it's Paul and Gene that I'm going to say are
Okay, so you're saying this is third,
yeah,
and you're saying, and then which one's first here?
I mean, I would have to say Paul would be first. He was,
Okay.
that's what I would have
Tonight
to say.
you want to move on. Ain't quite right. Yeah, it's all right. Hold me, touch me.
That's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like Tunnel of Love, right? And that's on.
So here, I'll give you the correct order.
Go.
Okay, you ready? So it's Ace, number one. Then Paul, okay?
Okay.
Then Gene,
Yeah.
and then Peter.
Okay.
Okay.
So we got Peter right.
Yeah, we got that. So we agreed on one thing.
Yeah, we agreed on one thing.
That's about normal.
I'm not just trying to bend. I could go with this order, honestly.
Because Ace he's just fun stuff. Like,
where's Ace today?
He's still doing stuff. Yeah, he still does stuff, and he just had an album. I showed that last year. He still came out with an album that's really good.
Does he talk to these other two guys?
Not much. There's not much, because Gene and Paul were shrewd businessmen, especially Gene.
Yep.
Rip It Out, Speeding Back to My Baby, Snowblind, Ozone, What's on Your Mind, New York Groove. I'm in Need of Love, Wiped Out, Fractured
You think
Mirror.
New York Groove would be on the airwaves today?
New York Groove. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That's a remake from somebody.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what we'll call the show. Fractured Mirror is an instrumental that's so good at the end. So we're going to go with Ace for the win.
Yeah.
Ace for the win. And then what else do we have to talk about? We did the Cardo thing. I think we're good. Remote control, low C bike.
Every day I look at that and I'm like, I need to take it someplace where I don't destroy it.
You need to go out in the dirt. Okay.
No,
so
you said grass.
Well, grass would be ideal.
Yeah. I got to go find a big grass area.
Right. Like a school field.
Carly asked me, well, let's go right there. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, I understand. But
Take her out on her on that bike. What's that bike?
I got a Stasic from GL for her birthday.
From Langston's.
From Langston's, yeah.
Just last week.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He has.
and what size isn't now? You moved up a size.
I went to the biggest size for her.
It's
a 20-inch.
20-inch.
Yeah.
So like that's the size of BMX tire we had.
Yep.
BMX bikes.
Yep. So they have like a 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20, and I just went and got the 20 from Langston's. He has them all there, so it was kind of easy.
Hey, let's go through some questions here.
Let's do some questions.
All right.
Okay.
We read that one. Okay, so am I first?
You're first.
Oh, this one's funny, dude. Remember that show we were talking about how cold we'd ride?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got some photos. You can put the photos up right here. Dylan S. sent me, he goes, I thought you guys might enjoy this. 17 degrees out in Ohio last weekend. We're usually able to get 2 to 3 days out on Buckeye Lake. Also heard the talk on the cold weather riding gear in the podcast. Well, we layer up and use bar mitts so we can wear thinner gloves. Here's a couple pics. And you can see in the pics, these bar mitts go completely cover their hands. I think you brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they can wear somewhat regular Moto gloves inside so you can feel your fingers.
Yeah, the guy I saw used Clorox bottles cut in half.
These mitts you see in the photos, they're legit.
Yeah, they've had them since the 70s, those kind of things, where they were a soft mitt that wrapped all the way around the bar.
All right, cool.
Okay. Fred T. Hey, how do you keep the maintenance going? Because I have this problem where I feel like it stacks up. And I try as hard as I can to fix stuff directly, but it still feels like it's stacking up on me. Do you have any tips or tricks?
Okay. Well, first of all, you should watch that video, the 125 things. We'll have a link in the description here. If you have any problem, just email me to find it. But that's my first thing. Second thing is write it down. You have an hour meter on your bike, write down your hours for oil changes, write down anything. Also, when I'm done washing my bike after a ride, I'm already prepping it for the next ride. That's what's happening. It's not just people think you're just washing your bike. No, you're prepping it for the next time so that if there's a zombie apocalypse or whatever, you're ready to go like that.
Ready to go.
Boom, boom. Or they cancel work and school and everything. And the tracks are all open.
Right.
You're going to go. You need to be ready at a moment's notice.
My bikes are ready to go.
Tank's full, like ready to go.
The tank's full.
Tank's full. Filters oiled. There's no now, here's the other caveat to that is if anything needs to be repaired on the bike, I have blue tape on the rear fender and I make notes. Oil, air filter, chain means I need to adjust the chain. I make notes right away.
Do you cut your tape now like I do?
No. just throw it on there. Big old piece in the rear fender. And I just write these notes, and only I can read them pretty much. So I write these notes on there. That helps a ton. And there's a note on that Yamaha behind you. That's some stuff I need to do. So there's a note right there.
Hey, look at my case. Does it look like it's ready to ride?
It's ready to ride.
It's ready to go, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, is stay on it and keep in your garage. If you have a whiteboard, you can make notes on your whiteboard. I keep track of the hours, and then you could have notes on what's coming up, what you need to get done, what work you need to get done in your shop, those types of things. All right.
Perfect.
Next, we got Mitch W. Hey, Jay. Have you had a chance to check out you're going to love this, dude.
Okay.
2025 YZ250FX out. It's like it's nonstop with this bike. Currently, I own a 24 KTM 350 SXF, all stock. But I put the connectivity unit on it, vet rider, but not that experience. I like the bike, but wanting a woods a little bit more this summer with Moto still. Would you recommend a 350 XCF for the track and trail, or would you recommend the YZ250FX be
How
good?
How many videos do you have on this stuff?
Gosh, it's so incredible. And again, if Yamaha just made a YZ250FX, we'd solve the problem.
350.
350 YZ350FX.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be it.
So that would be the problem. Now, so if you're comparing those two bikes, you're going to do both. If the amount of track is only, which it sounds like, I think I wrote this guy back, I think there's only 10 or 15%, then I would lean towards that YZ250FX. Okay.
You know what my answer is, right?
Yeah, 350X, yeah.
No.
Both.
Buy multiple bikes.
Buy multiple bikes.
Yeah.
So both bikes are great. Again, there's a huge price difference between the two. I think it's going to be $1,500 minimum between the two bikes. So that's a factor to consider. They both come with good forks now. The KTM now has spring fork stock, so that's out of the window. The 25, the gearing changes they did are so good you can run the stock gearing on the 25. So I'm torn on that, on which bike is best. If you're out west, I would lean towards that 350 XCF for the desert stuff and the tracks. If you're back east a little bit more, this stuff's tighter. That 250 XCF's fine. Yamaha 250FX is fine.
When the 4-stroke came out, how long did it take for you to go, okay, I'm going to be on a 4-stroke?
I was late. I mean, we talked about this before, but
we did, and I
rode.
Russell was saying something.
05 was the last year I rode a CRF 250R.
05. Like
legit. I just wrote, and Tom had the carb, and
you went to a 450?
And I mean
a 400.
No, I rode a. Okay, hold on. Back. I rode a Wise 05 CRF 250R that Tom had done, off and on a little bit, but I still rode a 252 stroke. And I think like 07 or 08 was the last year I stopped just even riding a two-stroke at all, a two-stroke 250. It was probably like 06 or something. 06 was probably the last year I rode a 250 two-stroke. Yeah. So
my last year was 99. I got a 426.
Yeah.
In 2000. And that was it.
And that's it. Never got another.
99 was the last two-stroke I owned besides getting that kick.
Yeah, so I rode the two-stroke for a while.
Yeah, you rode it 6, 7 more years, 8 more years.
And what's funny is I can't even keep riding them now on the track.
Yeah.
I could ride a 300 on the trail.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. So we talk about how the XCF is the best all-around bike. Can you ride the 300 on the track?
No.
The same?
No, it's terrible.
You can't?
No. Either one, the XC or the TE or the XCW.
Yeah,
they're still too hard to ride, and then the XCs are too soft, power wise, suspension wise, those types of things.
Yeah.
So, and then the XCs are kind of too gnarly.
Right.
The 24, 25, too gnarly like an SX power wise.
Yeah.
So that's why not a huge fan of those.
Okay.
On the track. No. All right.
Is it me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jake S. I have a 23 350 SXF and the clutch pull is horrible and the engagement point is almost the whole pull. I've ridden my buddies and their engagement point is more instant, like on-off feel, which is what I want. Does messing with the 1, 2, 3 numbers on the clutch pull help that?
Okay, so he's talking, when you change your clutch plates, there's different number systems you can put on when you put the pressure plate on. We leave it on 2 all the time. It's pretty much fine. So first thing, first thing I think of immediately is he needs to flush his fluid. It's just the most common problem on these things is the fluid is smoked, and guys don't change it often enough. You should be doing it a couple times a year minimum, depending upon how often you're riding.
Why does the fluid get smoked? The heat of the engine?
Yeah, like this.
Well, but I mean, it's attached to the engine. The engine's always getting hot.
Yeah, it's plenty hot. So that would be heating up that slave. There's got to be a lot of heat in there. And there's not a lot of fluid. If you really think about it, you look at the master up there, and then that whole line, and there's not like there's holding anything in the reservoir itself is so small in the slave.
Yeah.
So small. So there's just not a lot of fluids. I don't think it takes much for it to get hot. So we flush it all the time. That's number one. Then you would check, if that doesn't solve it, then you check your clutch to make sure it's not smoked at all.
Sure.
But usually 80-90% of the time on a newer bike, it's usually just bleeding. If you want a stiffer pull that's more firm, you can put a 450 master on. It's a 10, and that works
I have
pretty
a 450 master on that one.
And so we run it on the Moto bikes. I've kind of lately have stopped running it on the trail bikes as much because on the long days that it gets the finger gets really tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been leaning towards not doing it on the dual sports or the 350 XCF on the trails. So I do like it on the track better, even on a 250F.
Is there anything else that can make the clutch pull on a hydraulic clutch, if it's all maintained properly? Is there anything else to make it
spring.
easy? The spring.
Which there's only a few companies that have custom springs, and of course the KTM guys have custom springs.
Right.
Yeah. So there's companies that are messing with it. So there are people with different springs that you can test. Yes.
Okay.
So not available to most people, but there are some companies that do have some springs that will be different tension.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
All right. My turn?
Yep.
Chris, this is from Chris. Hello, Jay. I'm a YZ250 2005 owner, and I can't really find the perfect carb tune for my bike in order to have a good low mid. Any ideas? I live in Greece, so you can imagine it's pretty hot, especially during the summer. Thanks in advance. First of all, it's not any hotter than here.
No.
Okay. I don't care if it's greasy, what type of grease it is. It's no hotter than Southern California in the summer, right?
Right.
No way.
No way.
Okay. So
we are not in the Mediterranean, though.
So we have a link in our Google Doc to the PC jetting page. It's simple. It's not that hard. And as far as perfect tune, you will never have perfect tune on a two-stroke. That's why you buy a four-stroke.
That's why you buy a four-stroke.
Yeah, a 20-year-old two-stroke, you're not ever going to be perfect. All day, in theory, you would have a screwdriver with you, and you'd be adjusting the air screw all day and changing out the pilot jet for different things. But you can get pretty dang close, and for most of us, it's not that big a deal that it's a little bit off.
How many times have you gone and somebody that really knows how to tune a bike and stuff, and they're never happy with some place.
Because they know it could be better.
Some place in that throttle position, there's some place they're not happy with.
Right.
Always.
That can always be a problem.
Yeah. All right. Tom C. wants to know, what brand inch and eighth bar offers the lowest and least amount of sweep out there? I ride hare scrambles enduros here in the East Coast. Thanks.
Okay. I don't know. That's what I told him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to find out. ODI and all the other manufacturers of handlebars. It's all so simple. They all have a spec sheet with a diagram that shows you.
Yep.
You can go to any of them, okay, and see their dimensions. They actually call it dimensions of bars, okay? So you can do this on your own and just kind of compare. So what I would look up is find out what bar you have right now. Then go find it on, say it's a Pro Taper bar. Go look on their site, see what the ABC, there's all these different dimensions. Write them all down and go, I want it to be lower here. I want it to be more forward here. I want it to do this. I want it to sweep back more. Or I want it to sweep back less. Okay. Now go look at their dimensions. You can go to ODI like we use. They have a good chart. You can compare and go, okay, I want to be more forward. It's not that hard. You can figure it out, right?
Other manufacturers used to always name their bars after a rider.
Right.
Right.
Which is so weird now.
The Wyndham, the Carmichael,
because
the
these guys are all still alive.
Yeah.
And many of them don't use that brand of bar.
Yeah.
Or they're not paid by them anymore.
Right. And they're still named after them.
It's still weird.
Yeah.
Like if I was Wyndham, I wouldn't be stoked that somebody's calling it the Wyndham Bend without giving some credit for it.
And was that the bend he actually liked?
Right. We have no idea.
We have no idea.
And he ran it one time maybe on a YZ125.
Yeah.
But then when he was on a Honda, I doubt that he ran the same bar.
You can't.
As he has a different bike. So things that were changing. And when he was riding different bikes, it would all go out the window.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm with you on that. It is a bit weird.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because I don't think, like the Henry Bend, I don't think he ran it on every bike he was on.
Yeah. I certainly don't want the Henry Bend from when he went off the
Budds Creek.
Budds Creek.
That was gnarly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got through a lot of questions. It's a good long show.
I would say.
Yeah. So good times. Hope everybody enjoys it. Remember to send us your questions. Anything else from you? You got any questions to end us?
I'm going to try and interrupt less, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
We can all have lofty goals in life, right?
That's true.
Anyway,
we can all want something.
Anyway, it's fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. If you listened this far, that's really cool. Oh, Dirt Bike TV shirt. Let's show that right there.
Oh, yeah.
Is that? Oh. Does that look good?
I've got a couple. Oh, yeah. It's great.
Is bent like, I don't know that it's
I got
supposed
me
to
a couple of those shirts.
bent that far. Okay, now you can order these through Decal Works. If you use our code DBTV1, I'm pretty sure that's it. You get 20% off, so it basically covers your tax. Shipping becomes pretty inexpensive. If you send us a photo with this shirt on, back or front, we'll post it up. Okay, just tell me, send me, email me with your Instagram and what it is.
Weren't you going to do something with posting people's bikes too? Or something?
Yeah, when they listen to the whole show, they get to this point right here.
Yeah.
Then if they go, hey, I listened to the whole show, and you said you're going to post one, then they send us a photo of their bike.
Oh, that's where I think that we did the more buy more Ovaltine, because you have to give us the code at the end of the show.
So anyway, feel free to if you post a photo, you can send me a photo of with a shirt on, and you're at someplace cool like the track or I don't know, church.
Yeah,
wherever.
Yeah,
right.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right. So hope you guys enjoy that. Get out riding, working on your bikes. Hopefully your weather's breaking wherever you're at and you can ride, at least work on your bike. And depending on where you're at, you can get to a Supercross, watch those.
Oh, you bet.
Although
I think
they're better. They're better at home though. I just interrupted you to tell you that I like them better at home.
Listen to me. If I didn't have this thing to do on Friday that I have to do, I'm not joking. I was almost thinking about going to Tampa. Almost. I was starting to tell Tish, now, I have a couple other things going on. But I was like,
there's no way.
Huh?
There's no way.
I'm going to Dallas.
Right. But that's a trip where your buddy lives there. You've been doing it for years.
Yep, that's true. But I would go to Tampa.
Mm-hmm. And you've invited me to Dallas.
Yep.
I don't.
Let's go.
Is the invite still open?
Well, yes, it's always open.
It's a long drive, dude.
I'm not driving.
You're not driving? You've driven it a couple times.
I drove it because I took bikes back and forth. It's a full day and a half to drive there. It's miserable to drive.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
The last time I drove, it's like over 24 years ago or something.
Yeah, I noticed you haven't driven it again.
No. My truck was brand new. That truck, that F-250 I have, it was brand new. Yeah. Like an 01 range. Yeah.
Last time I drove my Sprinter, and I love my Sprinter, but driving my Sprinter over my truck, I would rather drive my truck those types of long distance.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway.
All right. That's a lot. That's probably our longest show almost.
I think it'll be the longest one. Yeah, everybody will be satisfied with that.
They'll love it. If they want more, they got it. Also, for whatever it's worth, we missed a week. We try to do these twice a month or so. We are a week off. We've had a lot going on. So we're kind of giving them their money's worth back.
Yeah, I'm all right with it.
Even though it's free.
Yep.
They get their money's worth.
They are getting their money's worth.
Right.
I'll give you that.
So, and I am getting my money's worth out of Donnie as well at the Donnie Bell studio.
Yeah.
That you can rent. Okay, no. All right. That's it. See you guys. Enjoy.
Tip.
We work with some great companies, and here's a list of those right now. Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, Wiseco Piston, Vinco Air Shocks and Dirt Bike Parts, FMF Exhaust, Decal Works Graphics, ProX Racing Parts, Recluse Clutch Revolution, Motion Pro Specialty Motorcycle Tools, Works Connection, Uni Filter, Klotz Oil, Cometic Gasket, MX Plastics, JE Pistons, Cardo Systems, ODI Bars and Grips. And remember, if you shop Rocky Mountain, use our link from our site, Linktree, or link in the description of the videos. Thanks for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.